All right, everybody, what is going on, everybody? This is the follow-up video to the video I did earlier where I did calcs for BEAST GOHAN. This is going to be the video for the gammas. So if you didn't see the Gohan video, which I'm assuming that one's going to perform better than this one, it's a little bit later in the day, but I am going to be doing the gammas video here. Let me go ahead and center my desktop a little bit. Sorry about that. But yeah, we've got the gammas. Let's go ahead and do their breakdown, their calcs. Let's go ahead and talk about them. Let's just go ahead and hop in here. So they are an int unit, which means they're going to be getting 5,000 across the board to stats right here. If they are, rainbowed, and then if they are 55%, they will get 2,000. So 15,000 defense, 20,000 attack, 20,000 HP. Pretty good, pretty good. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this novel provided by Goresh. If you can't see this, I guess I can do this and then do that. There we go. That's a little bit better, right? Like, this is marginally better. So here we go. Superheroes, category allies, 3 key and 200% the stats is their leader skill. I mean, superheroes is a really crazy team. So this, this could be good. This unit's like a nice support unit. So there could be instances where you want to run this unit as your leader. Although, if you have if you have Beast Gohan, I mean, we're running Beast Gohan, right? So anyway, the super attack here. The victory combination, that's a 30% attack and defense raise for 1 turn, colossal damage. 18 key is a 50% attack and defense raise, mega colossal damage, pretty good. Passive skill is the power of superheroes. 3 key, 125% at the start of turn. Additional 3 key and an extra 125% at the start of turn when HP is 30% or higher. So that's a total of 6 key and 250% at the start of turn. And then they have superheroes, join forces, and defender of justice category allies, 3 key and 50% attack and defense at the start of turn. So now we're up to 125. 125 is 250, plus another 50 is 300% at the start of turn, and 9 key for themselves if your HP is above 30%, which is obviously very, very, very good. Whenever I calced Beast Gohan, I just did like a flat 40% just because that's what I do for support. But it actually looks like I probably should have done 50 because these guys are going to be on the team occasionally. So, like on rotation with him occasionally. I figure most of the time you're probably going to run either like you're going to, in my mind here, I'm working out like kind of what you would want to run for the team. And I'm thinking maybe you'd run like a rotation of like Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo, and then, like Beast Gohan and maybe Physical Ultimate Gohan maybe is what you would want to run, but let me know what you guys are thinking are like the ideal setups, and then maybe you run like the Gammas as a floater, and you just kind of fill in the team from there. But anyway, and then like Super Gogeta as well would be probably your other character, and then I guess you get one more. So like Super Gogeta, the Gammas, and then maybe, I don't know, like Gamma 1, maybe, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think the ideal superhero setup is going to be, but regardless, I did a calc earlier, and I did 40%. Looks like I should have done 50 for their support, but I just do 40 as like a flat, like, buff. Unless I am specifically doing like a linking partner, I just do a flat 40%. So, chance to perform a critical hit plus 30% and perform an additional super attack up to twice per turn per int key sphere obtained. So if you get 2 int key spheres, you will do 2 additional attacks. And then you also just get the 30% crit chance, which this doesn't look like it caps out. So you could get if you got 4 int key spheres, I guess you would have a 100% chance to crit. And then you would do 2 guaranteed additional super attacks, which is really good. So that's awesome. And then you get a 12% chance to crit, and then an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack up to twice per turn per AGL or STR key sphere obtained. So, I mean, that's still decent, right? Like, obviously, you want to get int key spheres when you can, but it's nice that they gave you just a little bit of a buff here if you get AGL or STR. Again, this is another character that has a lot of crit built into their passive, so I would probably recommend going additional with them, or dodge, actually. Dodge isn't going to hurt this unit like it would Gohan. I think a nice balance of dodge and additional for this unit would be really good. And then gain an additional attack and defense plus 50% and reduce damage received by 30% starting from the turn which this character performs their 3rd attack in battle. So after you do 3 attacks, they're going to get this nice multiplicative buff as well as 30% damage reduction. So that's good. And that also means that if you just get, either 2 int, 2 STR, or 2 AGL key spheres, no matter what, you're going to have this activated at the end of their turn. So that's really good. on its own, right? So as long as you can get 2 of one of those typings of key spheres, you're gonna be cooking with these guys. Because it's notice how it's just attacks. They're third attack in battle. It's not third super attack in battle. So you can get normals. So like right here, you have the great chances, to do additionals, right? Right here, great chance of becoming a super attack if you get the AGL or STR key spheres. Even if you just get normals from those, you're still going to build this up right here. So that's obviously very good. They have a standby, able to be used when HP is 70% or less, or after this character has attacked 3 or more times in battle. Again, this should be fairly easy to get because this is fairly easy to get, right? Because there's only, I guess there's technically 6 types of key spheres because you have rainbow. So half of the key spheres in the game basically are going to be pushing you towards getting this activated, and rainbow are only going to make it easier. So really there's only 2 types of key spheres you want to avoid. What is it? Tech and physical. So as long as you're not getting tech or physical key spheres, like this unit's going to be, it's probably going to be very common that you get this on their next turn. So that's good. They enter the standby mode for 4 turns, and they gain 1 charge count for each ally attack performs. That's going to be like Sword of Hope Trunks. So that's going to be pretty easy to build up. These are their links: Android Assault, Red Ribbon Army, Shocking Speed, Hero of Justice, Signature Pose, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. So they're going to link really well with the existing Gamma units, and then just like other Android units, right? Like Android Assault's going to be their most important link if you're looking at their individual performance. But I'm gonna say it's not gonna be super common that you're running these guys next to Gamma 1, but you could, considering they're gonna be sharing a lot of really good links, and then they're also supporting Gamma 1. I think you could make this like a viable rotation if you wanted to. But so in my calcs, I kind of did one side is going to have with just Shocking Speed, and then the other side is going to be linked up with Gamma 1. So that way you can kind of see the contrast of the difference that links make, which is also to say, you guys are going to need to link level this unit, like, desperately. So if you do summon for the Gammas, make sure you are link leveling them. They're on, like, 1,000,000 teams here, which is crazy. It's also going to be very nice for the future. We love to see that, especially since they are a 3-category support unit. Them being on 1,000,000 categories is just going to make their longevity really nice. So then this is their standby right down here. Super attacks effect stays the same, just raises attack and defense. But then their 18 key does change down here. This part stays the same. They still get the 50% raise here, but then right over here raises superclass allies defense by 50% for 1 turn. So in total, they're actually going to be giving themselves a 100% defense right here, assuming that these are correct and this isn't like some sort of self-excluded or something like that. This is going to be a 100% defense raise for them, which is insane, right? This is their finisher, do or die, full energy release. You can use it after you've, done 1 attack, basically. Temporarily raises attack by 100% per charge count and causes super ultimate damage and guaranteed stuns the enemy. And then you also exchange with Gamma 1, which is really nice. This is, the core breaker, whatever you want to call it, right? It's Gamma 2's sacrifice. So that's going to be really cool. Their passive skill in their standby is Key +6, 250% at the start of turn, 50% damage reduction, 50% when attacking. They still give the Superheroes Join Forces Defender of Justice allies support, so they're still basically at 300% defense at the start of turn. Now they just have 50% damage reduction, and then they get that extra 50% when attacking, which, the extra 50% attack and defense, like that multiplicative buff. Before they get it, and it's kind of like at the start of turn after it's activated, down here, it's just when they attack, so it's kind of a downgrade, but I mean, it is what it is, right? So, they're still giving the support, like I said, which is nice. They get the 30% chance to crit, additional super attack twice per turn per int key sphere, chance to perform. This is all the same. This is all the same as above, so. The only thing that's really different is that they're guaranteed 250%, whereas up here it was conditional to being above 30%. So, I guess the 300% is guaranteed, right? Down here, as opposed to up here. You could potentially lose 125%, but I mean, who's dying on superheroes? Let me know. Let me know who's dying on superheroes. Okay, so that's that. And then post-standby mode, you go into just Gamma 1. The only thing that changes is the 18 key is now for 2 turns instead of 1 turn. So the 12 key is still 30% right here. The 18 key is now for 2 turns, which is going to be very, very impactful if you're able to get this out. And then again, key 3, 150% at the start of turn, 15% damage reduction, additional 3 key, 150% in damage reduction, 15% of HP is 30% or higher. So again, 300% right there. Additional 50% when attacking, They keep the support 3 key, 50% attack and defense. But so now they're actually at 350% defense at the start of turn. Again, 150, 150, and then the 50% support. So now they're actually at 350% at the start of turn. This 50% is still when attacking, so that's still multiplicative. And then perform an additional super attack is just guaranteed now. Changes AGL to int key spheres, gain additional crit chance, plus 20%, max of 100, and reduces damage received by 10%, max of 50 per int or STR key sphere obtained. Needless to say, this is a very good unit, and they're a very good support unit. I would either give them dodge, or I would give them additional. One of the two is what you want to go for. Additional is definitely going to maximize their damage. Dodge is going to help them defensively. I don't really know that they're going to be struggling defensively, but it could help, right? So let's go ahead and go over here into CALCS. So this is what we've got going on. Let me go ahead and center this really quickly. I'll go ahead and do that, and then let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. There we go. So now let's go ahead and talk about this. So I have this broken up into 3 sections. So this is like Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. This is the standby, and then over here is just Gamma 1 after you exchange at post-standby. So that's what we're looking at here. This side is just with Shocking Speed active and no support. This side is linked next to Gamma 1, so we do have the 30% defensive support, and then we're also getting Android Assault, Red Ribbon Army, and Shocking Speed activated for a total of 35% in links. So we can kind of compare and contrast and see here. And then, of course, we have Rainbowed and then 55% for each side as well. So, again, their defense is 10,506. They're an int unit, so they get 5,000 at the start of turn. If you're on a 200% leader skill, you multiply that number by 5. For the links, we multiply this number by 1.05 for Shocking Speed. On this side, it's 1.35 for the 35% from, again, Android Assault is 20, Red Ribbon Army is 10, and then Shocking Speed is 5%. So that's where we get that. I already mentioned the start of turn is going to be 300% most of the time, so we multiply by 4. Same thing over here, but it's actually going to be 4.3 because, again, Gamma 1 does give 30% defensive support. They get 50% when performing an 18-key super attack, and then they get 30% on their 12-key. So that's where these numbers are coming from. And then remember that they're, like, at the start of turn, you're not going to get this part active right here, this extra 50%, until you've actually performed the 3 attacks. So I kind of separated this out, and that's what that red line right there is kind of indicating, is that this is after you've done your 3 attacks. So this is kind of what you would see on their next turn at the start of turn. And, like, that's just how this would interact here. So you can see that this number is the same, right? Like, but that's just because they're both multiplicative buffs. But you can see that once you start getting your 18-key super attack here, the defense does start to grow tremendously. So the point being here is that, like, after they super attack, or if they super attack twice in a turn, they're going to be, well, if you do 3 attacks and 2 of them are supers, right? That's kind of what I'm showing here. Or I guess let me gather my thoughts here. Let's just say there's a lot of variance that can go into this. So if you were to do 3 attacks, right? And the first one is an 18-key super attack, right? That's guaranteed. And then you get 2 normals after that, right? Then on your first super attack that you would do, this would be your defense right here. That's it after your first super. And then let's say you get a second super attack, right? Like, theoretically. So then your defense would be these 2 added together right here. And that would be about 586. But then as soon as you hit that third attack, whether it's a super or a normal, you're going to start busting into this zone down here. So there's never really going to be a scenario where it's like this number plus this number twice. So this will just be, again, 18-key, you get an additional 12-key, but then as soon as you do that third attack, you're going to bust out that extra 50%. And so then this would be your defense after an 18-key. Added together, that would be after a 12-key. And then if you just did a normal, that's where it would stop, would be these 2 numbers added together. If you got a second 12-key, then you would have to multiply this number right here by 2, and then add that times 2 plus this number right here. That sounds more complicated than it actually is. So let me know if you guys need clarification on that. But essentially what's happening is you don't unlock this extra 50% until you do your third attack, at which point it's essentially just giving you an extra 50% buff on top of this. So that's a long way of saying they're really good defensively, so long as you can get 3 attacks activated. But then regardless, most of the time you're going to do their 3 attacks, then you're probably just going to go directly into their standby. So this is what you're going to see at the start of turn before their standby on that next turn. And then after you go into their standby, they're actually going to go down defensively because you're going to lose this extra 50% defensive buff. It's going to go away because that goes back to being when they attack as soon as you stand by. So you can notice you're going to see a lot of similar numbers here across all of these calcs. And, I mean, that's just the way it is because they're still getting the same start-of-turn defense across these. It's just that this is conditional to your HP. This is no longer conditional to your HP. Then they get 50% when they attack. Then, like I mentioned, they get 100% on their 18 key during their standby because they get that all allies raised for 1 turn. So that's, you know, their defense jumps up quite a bit here. And then they also have all that damage reduction going on. So if you get an 18 key and a 12 key in their standby, you know, they shoot up to about 1.1 million defense plus damage reduction, and they're supporting with 50%, so that's obviously very good. And they're charging up this really powerful attack for 4 turns, which is, again, very good. So that's awesome. And then after you pop that, you get down here to the Gamma 1 exchange, and you can see, like, the numbers are actually pretty decent. That is slightly higher at the start of turn right here, again, because they get 350% as opposed to 300 right there. Then they still get the 50% when attacking, 100% on 18 key, and then 30% per additional 12 keys. So that's kind of what we're seeing right here. Obviously, very good support unit. And they're on the superhero team, which is basically going to become unkillable. I made a tweet about this on Twitter, right? That the superhero team now, it's just about surviving turns 1 and 2. Because as soon as you get to turn 3, you get access to the Beast Gohan nullification. You get access to Orange Piccolo as well. So if you're running like a double Beast Gohan setup, right, then on turn 3, you use like a Beast Gohan, like attack redirection or whatever you want to call it, right? You redirect all the attacks to him so it protects your rotation. Then on turn 4, you can either use Orange Piccolo or the other like friend Beast Gohan if he's on the other rotation, right? You also on turn 4 most likely get to transform into Blue Gogeta, just depending on what turn you get him in. And then on turn 5, you either use Orange Piccolo or you use the Beast Gohan that you didn't use on turn 4, right? Because you set your rotations up so that you can chain them. Like, that's the smart play. And so then you do that on turn, what did I say? So turn 3, and then 4, and then 5. And then on turn 6, hopefully you have Gogeta, like on turn 4, you transform into blue. Then on turn 6, you get to use Gogeta's guaranteed dodge, turn, and redirection. So you have essentially 4 turns in a row that you can chain together of not taking damage. And then you also throw out this Gamma Core Breaker attack at some point. They're all giving 50% defense to everybody. And they're giving, once you get Gamma 1's exchange out, then he's giving, you know, a 50% defense buff to the whole rotation after he super attacks. The superhero team is actually going to be unkillable now. And then also, I think Krillin and 18 are a 2-turn support, and they seem pretty decent. I'm not going to do calcs on them, but yeah, these superhero units and this superhero team definitely seems insane. But you guys let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you wanted to see these calcs a little bit early, you could have seen them on Twitter. I posted them there right before I went live. And also, if that's all you're interested in, I post them there, so you can just follow me on Twitter and not have to listen to me talk for 18 minutes and try to bumble about and explain these units. I used to do it where I would do, like, you know, additionals, but I'm leaving it up to you guys now to do some math and add in your extra buff, you know, every time you get an additional. So, but anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're more excited for Beast Gohan or the Gammas. Let me know which one you're going to be summoning for first. Let me know if you are a sad global player like me and you're just the Squidward meme watching everybody else have fun. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.